Okay, so the rule of the game is that you keep your microphones muted or mute until you have something to say. Depending on the capacity of your internet, you might also want to turn off your videos. It's allowed. So whatever you can do, just do it to make sure that other people are not distracted, and that will be fine. Okay, so I'm about to share my screen. So just bear with me if you can. Once you start seeing it, just indicate that you can see it. Right. Can you see it now? And if you can see it, just quickly say yes. Anybody? If you can see my screen clearly.
Yes, I can
Yes,
see
sir.
it.
All right. Thank you, Innocent. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Today, fortunately, I'm the first person to speak, so I'll be talking to you about basic strategic tools for growing small businesses. So you can turn that topic around anyhow you understand it, basic tools or strategic tools for managing or growing your business. Okay. It might not necessarily apply to small businesses, so it could include bigger businesses as well. So it's a mix of tools for managing any kind of business. So my name is Justin. Justin Udie. I'm from Nottingham Business School and Nottingham Trent University, as you will know. So a brief about me is that I'm a lecturer in strategic business management and personalization tutor at Nottingham Business School. Prior to joining Nottingham Business School, I was an associate lecturer at Castle Business School in Leicester. And uh, prior to that, I started my career with Federal Road Safety Corps in Nigeria as an assistant road commander and at the headquarters of the Corps. After that, I think I joined the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, also in Abuja. So I resigned my appointment, joined FMST, and then left for study leave. And I obtained recently, 2019, a doctorate degree in climate impact assessment from the Institute of Energy and Sustainable Development at De Montfort University in Leicester. And before that, I completed a master's in oil and gas natural resources management from Coventry University, an initial degree in biotechnology and genetics from the University of Calabar, and currently completing another bachelor's in global business management at Beaumont University. So I've attended professional training programs, including global strategic business management from Harvard Extension School and so many others I won't be able to mention. So I am behind a global entrepreneurship hub in the UK, and today we're organizing this workshop to support entrepreneurs, like I've said before. So at any point, if you can't hear my voice, please let me know, because it's like I don't have a loud voice naturally. So what we want to look at today is the purpose of business. Why do people do business? What is a business vision, the mission and strategy itself? Why do businesses need a strategy? Is it really necessary? Decision making and the business environment. So I won't talk too much on business environment because that's it's a different topic almost. The purpose of strategy, some examples, and then I'll draw conclusion from there. So every business starts with an idea of how to solve a set of problems or any problem. And that problem could be in agriculture, it could be in telecom, education, medical health, security, environment, transport, cyberspace, entertainment, and any other examples you might think of. So once there are problems, know that there are opportunities. If there are no problems, just know there are no opportunities. Okay. So the idea of business is to provide solutions, is to add value. And by adding value or by creating these solutions, you are creating a business for yourself. Okay, so any value to a problem or as a result of a problem gives rise to a business. So the aim of every business startup is to make profit. That is a general knowledge, and grow steadily. So when you start making profit, the idea is that you want to keep making this profit. You want to grow steadily and become a leading brand in the industry that you operate. All right. So when you become a leading brand in the industry that you operate, you achieve maybe a competitive advantage in whichever way, revenue or customer base, you know that your business is growing. So when you start a business, the idea is to take it up and up and up and up. And to do that, there are certain things you need to do. And those are the few things I want to randomly communicate today. And the idea is also to effectively compete, like I said, achieve a sustained competitive advantage over other people. So when you start a business, you don't start the business from the top. You don't start it from the beginning. You don't start it from the middle. You start from something very small, depending on that, on the scale of what you want, depending on your financial capacity and partnership. Business usually will start from an idea like a seed, and then it grows. And that idea starts from having a vision, a mission value, or creating a strategy, as the case may be. So, Milton Friedman said that there is only one social responsibility of a business: to engage in activities designed to increase its profits as long as it stays within the rules of the game. So, the business of every business is to do business. It's not a joke. So when you set out to do any business or engage in any kind of commercial transaction, it's business strictly. So there is no joke, and you cannot mix it up. There is time to play. There is time for business. And once you are into business, you are into business. Okay. So every business that you start or that anybody will want to start is how you visualize your business. And visualizing the business, you develop a vision for it. And this vision will come through mission and then different strategies that we'll get into that will let you achieve your vision. So mission and vision are statements, or they are ideas, ideologies, I'll put it that way, from the organization that answer the question about who is operating the business, right? What is the value the business is adding, and where is that taking the business to? So every organization that is clearly or is expected to clearly communicate their business vision or business value system or business mission clearly to other people who work within that environment. Let people know, especially your stakeholders, primarily. Now, let's talk about the innermost stakeholders, the people you employ to work with you. Need to understand clearly what the mission of that business is. Unfortunately, sometimes you hire people who come to work, and all they aim to get is the salary, is revenue they get. But that is not the overarching thing. If you're hired to do a business, understand the vision, understand the mission, what is behind that business. Where does this person want to take this value is adding to? And you work in line with the vision. As a manager or as an owner of your own business, you want people to understand, or you need to communicate clearly what is the vision and the mission of the business to the people that are in your team to enable the business grow to where you want it to. So first, you need that vision. Okay. It's like when you sleep, you dream of something. When you dream, you see something that is virtual. You see an environment. You see it clearly more than every other person. And that is where leadership comes in. Okay. When you see very far where you want to take your small business to, you develop a vision around that. So the firm's vision is a future-oriented declaration or an ideology of the firm which purpose with its purpose and aspirations. That is very crucial. Okay. The mission of the organization or the firm could give you the purpose of the business, will give you why the business is existing. But the vision is based on the purpose and what they want to become with that purpose in a longer term. The strategy itself flows directly from the vision. Okay, so this I'm talking about, most of these things are some kind of literature to help us understand the mission, the vision, and give us a background to where a business will come into play, and then develop a strategy that will drive up to achieving the vision and even the midterm goals. So a vision statements, usually they are very short. So if you start your business, give it a vision that is very short. Example here, Starbucks says, establish Starbucks as the premier purveyor of the finest coffee in the world while maintaining our uncompromising principles as we grow. Other visions could be very, very short and even clearer. For instance, Microsoft said to put a computer on every desk in every home. So as I speak to you today, as you are listening, you have this system within you. Microsoft, either as Word or as PowerPoint or whatever, or even if it's a hardware system, there are almost in every home. And to keep that steadily and to keep that vision going, they have a lot to do in terms of their mission or in terms of their business strategy. So as we go further, this might become even clearer. LinkedIn, for instance, said create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. And if you are here today, I want to think most people, except for some personal reasons, have LinkedIn accounts. All right. It's an opportunity now that is going to create, that is uniting people, creating that kind of platform on networking platform for people from any part of the world. That is their vision. Okay, and you know what LinkedIn is about anyway. Tesla, which is the bone of contention now in the automobile industry, said to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, which is very clean and clear. All they produce sustainable cars, electric cars that you don't need fossil energy to power them. That is their vision. So if you have a business, try when you dream, you come out, write it down. What do you want to do in the long term? What would your business become? That will give you an opportunity to create the vision. There's also the mission after that. The mission statement communicates the firm's reason deter. So that is the overarching idea of the business, the core of the business, and how it aims to serve its stakeholders. So every business has stakeholders. So I know how to identify your stakeholders, all the people that have interaction that could impact your business. It could be your customers, could be your employees, it could be the government, it could be investors, and it could be communities where you work. All these people are stakeholders in your business. So it's good to identify them if possible. So the statement often is longer compared to the vision. It defines a set of activities that the firm wishes to engage in and forms the logic for developing the firm strategy and goals. So the mission is all about what is a need of your customers. Question to ask: what is the need of your customers? How do they want this need? How do they want this problem solved? And how can this problem or this need be delivered to them? If I give an example, you say the need of your customers is that they want food in their house, right? That is number one question. Number two is that how do they want this food? They want it cooked, they want it raw, they want it packaged in a way. And then the third thing is, how can you deliver this food to them? All right, in a sustainable manner. Possibly, do you want to deliver it through email if it is possible? Or do you want to deliver this food through cycling or transport directly to their doorstep in any way? So when you address this question, it might lead to now creating a business like Uber Eats, or creating a business like Just Eat that will take this food from the producer to the customer. That is what Uber Eat business is about, isn't it? They don't own any kitchen, they don't produce, they don't serve any food. Their duty and responsibility is take this food from the producer to the customer's doorstep. All right. So that now has created a business from whoever owns or whoever dreamt of bringing these food vendors or food delivery organizations or firms in the world. So Apple, for instance, said that their mission is strives to bring the best personal computing experience to students, educators, creative professionals, and consumers around the world through its innovative hardware, software, and internet offerings. All right. So that is their mission. And that is what they wake up every day to achieve. But then their vision is a little bit different from that. So if you are going to go into business, try as much as possible to create a mission statement that will tell people who you are and what value you are adding. Create a vision statement that will tell you what you want to become in XYZ years or in any distant time in the future. And then create strategies that will enable you to achieve this. How would you achieve your vision? So those set of activities that you'll be doing with your business to enable you achieve your vision will become your strategy. And of course, you have objectives, how you want to gauge and measure your performance as you move every day with your business. So that is the background about when you start a business. So you draw the Bible, what I call the Bible of the business, from the beginning by giving it a background, understand, get a vision. Of course, you have a vision before you start any business, but write that vision down. And next thing you want to do is, what is a mission of business, the things you are doing at the moment, things you will do, and of course, create a strategy, set yourself objectives. But this workshop, this session is about strategy, the business strategy. Very, very important. If you don't have a strategy, you'll just be wobbling, you'll be struggling with so many things and not knowing exactly what is going on around your business. So it is important that you develop a strategy. And the aim of this session is to unravel some of these strategies and make them available to you in a way that you'll be able to maybe tap from there to reposition your startup. So, what is a strategy? So many people will define strategy from different angles, different languages perspective, or different professions will say it. Military people will see strategy as something different. So if you have a military background, you know what is going to be your strategy. Strategy is, how do you counter your enemies? How do you counter, in business, your competitors? In the military, how do you counter your enemies? All right. Because if you start every business, you are going to compete with people who are either already existing in that industry or people who are going to join you later. And this competition is obvious, is you cannot avoid it. So they will come take your customers away, they will come take your money away. If you are not properly strategic, or if you are not strategic enough, then you know that you'll be losing your advantages to competitors. So competitors will be there, except for any reason you have what they call a blue ocean business, or you go into a blue ocean industry where you are the first person to arrive in that industry. I'm not talking about you are the first person to arrive in the village or in the town or in the city that is offering this value. It's a new set of idea entirely, and you are the only person chasing that. Then you have time to play around with monopoly in the market before people will actually start coming in to compete with you. So strategy relates to the future of an organization and the setting of medium and long-term goals for that firm or the organization. Is a set of activities required for the attainment of long-term ambition of any business. Whilst it enables a firm to compete effectively in an industry, it is about immediate advantages that focus on the future competitive opportunities. So every successful strategy is simple long-term action that takes into account the business environment, appraises resources and capabilities, and of course, determine effective implementation of the of a strategy. So developing a strategy is one, and the next thing is making it implementable. Okay. So for startups, it is important that you have a clear strategy in place for venturing into any business, or you call it competitive industry. Be it competitive or not, you need a strategy. All right. So typical tools or tool is accessible to business plan. Some people write business plan, and the business plan will explain day-to-day activities or how you intend to commercialize the opportunity, okay, and turns that into revenue or an advantage, as you want to call it. So it is important that every strategy is able to attract customers. Okay, your strategy is to attract customers and retain these customers within your business. So if I give you an example, maybe someone start food selling food or producing, yeah, a food vendor in a place. The question you want to ask is, how do you keep these customers in place? How would you be able to attract customers and keep them patronizing you day in, day out? That is the question that will lead you to creating a strategy. Number one, it could be that you serve your food with free drinks, for instance, or bill the cost of the drinks into, or maybe with free water. If you have a competitor who is selling a bottle of water for 200 naira, for instance, or 200, whichever currency you use, and in your own case, that water is given to people free. All right. Then you know that you have more people who want free water in addition to food come to your kitchen or come to your restaurant to patronize you. That is a strategic attempt. You understand? So if you are selling and you are people are paying for almost everything, they pay for water separately, they pay for food, they pay for something else, they pay. And by the end of the day, you have another person who just opened a new place, establish a new place very close to you, and is though building this cost somehow into the food and making it obvious that water is free and sitting in the place is free and there is ventilation, there is fan, there is AC. You know that you don't need a ghost to tell you that people are going to move away from your restaurant to the next one. That person has created a clear strategy of taking your customers away from you. That you need to take care of. So in doing this, strategic decision making generally lies on top of the manager's head, either the manager or the proprietor or the whoever is at the top managing or the top management of your firm or organization. If it is yourself, you are the startup, you are the entrepreneur, you are the CEO of your business. Decision making on how to strategize is about you. So in broader context, you wear the hat of HR, you wear the hat of admin. Okay, that's HR and admin anyway. You wear the hat of operations, suppliers, and everything comes into you. So the decision you make will affect the entire business value chain, as wide as it might be. Okay, so strategy comes with responsibilities and practice. It might come easily sometimes, but then it still requires some level of practicability. It still requires practice, testing it and reviewing how it works. That means there's a chance for failure when you implement strategy, but don't be scared. Sometimes it will fail, but then you can review it and re-implement it. All right. So if any strategic attempt result in failure, it doesn't mean it's not the end to the business. But you need to be careful. Some strategic failures could be so catastrophic that they lead to the end of the business. They could destroy the business. That is why leaders that make this strategic decision, or if you are going to start your own business, you need to be very careful and think it well through before you delve into ideas that will come up. So strategic decision lies on the managers, like I've said, on corporate level. So the decision-making style of the manager must be very careful and in determining or in making what and how the organization will progress. So firms, business environment, like I said before, is this is not what I want to talk about in greater details. So this is not what I want to talk about it, but it will enable us formulate strategy or strategies. If we need to understand clearly the environment which you are operating, and there are two different types of environments here for every business. There is the inner environment, there's the outer environment. So some people call it the micro, and some call it the macro environment. Some people call it the internal or call it the external environment. It means just about the same thing. So within the firm that you are managing or you are going to create your own business, you have your values, you have your mission statement and your vision statement, you have human resources, you have buildings, you have you have finance to manage, you have your organizational organogram. All these are within the organization. We call it the internal environment of your organization. Okay, so you know your strengths, and sometimes you understand your weaknesses. Understanding these will enable you form your strategy. I give an example. If you don't have the financial capacity to compete, there is no need deciding to get into that environment, or sorry, to get into that industry in the first place to start competing, because you don't have the finance. Or if you go there, don't think of going into competition. You can try a different approach. For instance, subcontracting. Someone can give you a little opportunity to function within their own business operations before you could now think of, okay, can I set up my own business? So if you're hired to work, and that's what sometimes people complain, that you hire people and the people don't come to work, they just come to steal your ideas. Okay. So it's good that you settle down and commit to working, at understanding and supporting the idea instead of trying to copy it. However, copying a strategy is allowed. Copying any business is allowed. Replicating it is allowed. There is no cause for alarm. The external environment has to do with outside the business industry, okay, or even outside your organization. So we'll be looking at things like political forces or political decisions, leadership generally, the economy within that area. We look at ecological factors, sometimes environmental factors. If there is climate change, if there is bad weather, if there is anything that has to do with the external environment, how would that affect your business? You need to understand demographics. If the population is growing, or the population affecting your business segment is shrinking, of course you will know that your customer base will also shrink as a result of that. Okay, so you study that and understand the sociocultural issues or even cultural issues within where the business is operating. Okay. So once, if you understand this, they will aid the way and manner to which you are going to develop your business strategy. So generally, the firms will, as a business, you develop strategy by way of identifying opportunities and getting to be the first mover, if you are the first mover in a place. And sometimes, if you live in a location where is saturated, saturated means there are so many people doing the same thing within that environment. So why not move to a place where competition is less? If you live in a city where people are producing a lot of ice creams, I know that if you move away, why not try another city where production is less, where competition is less, and establish yourself instead of getting into competing in a place where it's already saturated. Okay, so identify threats and early warning signs when you start a business, or that these or things that issues that will affect your business directly. What are the early warning signs? If I give an example, for instance, using the same demographics from an external environment analysis, for instance, maybe your business is serving halal meats. I think halal meat is for some people from a particular religion, and you move into a place, establish a halal shop where you sell halal products, and the population is 1 million, and something happened to that demographic, all right, and the population is half to 500,000 instead of 1 million, what will happen? Your customer base is now reduced, it's now halved ordinarily. Your revenue is also going to go down by about the same margin. Okay, so that's, but if you understand these threats on time, it will give you an opportunity to re-strategize how you want to stay where you are in terms of your revenue or in terms of your customer base. So identifying that is important. Coping with rapid changes, tapping useful resources or tapping into useful resources is important. So if you attend workshops like this, it will probably give an idea, resources or tools that you could go back and review your strategy. Help planning, policy, and formulation, and improving performance. Performance is very important. I think most of these might not be able to talk about them individually, but performance and efficiency of organization is another thing you might need to review with time when you start your business. So now, what is the purpose of strategy? So in addition to this, can you just, if you're around, let me know that you can engage. Just drop a word or a sentence on the chat box so that I will see what is the purpose of a business strategy. You can see this, but let me know what you are thinking about. I'm looking at the chat box now. Just drop whatever you think from your own view would be the purpose of a strategy. Why do you think your business need a strategy? Okay, so it helps you planning and risk management. Absolutely fine. I love that. It helps you in planning and managing risks and even identifying risks. Okay. Anyone else with an idea or the purpose of strategies? Okay. Said, because I think planning makes the thing perfect. Okay. Strategy helps with planning. That's all right. One more person with what do you think is the purpose of strategy? Why do you need a strategy? A business strategy repositions your organization to top a competitive chain. All right, that's fine. So you guys made wonderful contribution. I now believe you understand what the purpose of strategy is. Of course, you can see what I have there is to achieve a competitive advantage every business that you do. Strategy helps to keep you on focus. Okay, thank you. From there, it keeps you focused. That is true. So you need a strategy, like I said from the beginning, and I think Officer Joe will understand it very well from paramilitary background. That the idea is that there is competition out there. So if you go out there without a strategy, imagine you're a leader, you're a team leader of a squad or a squadron leader. You are going for a combat and you don't have a strategy. The enemies will just consume you in no distant time. So if you start a business and you have no strategy, then the business will fail from the beginning. Or even if it doesn't, you'll be wobbling. You have no no connection with what you are doing. You don't have ideas about what you are doing. You are just floating. And any wind that comes will blow your business away. So you need a strategy, a firms within a similar market. And this competition will come from within the similar market. Okay, so when we talk about an industry, is a set of business environment that people are doing right about the same thing. So if it is, let's say, barbing, or cutting your hair or hairdressing, the whole of that is an industry. Okay, so if you get in there without a strategy, you just establish a barbing salon, and people comes around, cut their hair, and they go. Somebody asks you anything that is someone else comes with a better approach. or a better offering in terms of value, the person is going to sweep you away. And before you notice it, all your customers are gone. So the essence of every business strategy is to achieve a competitive advantage. So when you know that there is competition, you plan on how you are going to engage in this competition. So in context, a competitive advantage itself is an edge over competitors gained by offering customers greater value, either by means of lowering the price or by providing greater value or greater benefits or providing extra quality that will convince people that your business is better. So if you are offering a better value at the same price, what do you think will happen to your competitors? All the customers will come to you. That's the meaning. It's as simple as that. If your price is lower, but you're offering the same value, people will come. If your price is higher and you're offering a higher value, certain people will come. We'll talk about these strategies in a minute. So ultimately, competitive advantage itself is about being a favorable or a superior business brand in position in wherever you are. Once you are the most admired person, then you are having a competitive advantage over the other people. Okay, so that is what it does imply when, or the purpose, or what the purpose of a strategy is. So for example, or some examples of a business strategy is what we want to talk about now. However, just to remind you that the decision process of developing a strategy is a corporate responsibility. Corporate responsibility in the sense that it is not the task of employees to develop strategies for the business. If you get to the university, for instance, I give you a university environment. The vice chancellors and the deputy vice chancellors and the deans are the people who make overall decisions on how they want to drive the university. Okay, students don't make decisions on how they want to drive the universities, including other academics. They don't make decisions on how to drive it. So that decision of strategy is a corporate responsibility. It's leadership, high leadership responsibility. And that is why in the corporate world, leadership is absolutely, I would say, most time based on meritocracy. Once the person has the merits to lead, be that person a man, woman, Israeli, or Egyptian, that person is going to take that responsibility, because the overarching idea is to win the competition. So through strategy, the vision of mission of the firm must be clearly communicated. I've said that to all stakeholders. So I wish I would leave this, but I'm going to leave some of this link on the chat box for you to watch later. It gives us a clear idea of what strategy sometimes could mean, and what would be the source of certain strategies as organization, or sources of certain strategies organizations will take. So now you can develop strategies from different means, right? And number one that I've highlighted, there are different ways to which you can develop your strategy, but I want to make it very primarily, as much as I can, make it basic. You could develop a strategy by debunking what this guy called industry myths. There are certain things that happen over and over and over and over, and people keep doing those things without questioning why things like that are happening in the first place. All right. So by the in this story that the link is here is about Great Britain, of all places, back in the days where they used to produce newspapers in very broad sheets. So newspapers that look very, very broad, so that if you're on a train, you could be inconveniencing some other people just in an attempt to read those newspapers. And why was it like that? That's continues for a very long time, for years. I'm talking about decades. People were always in the UK or in London, for instance, with very broad sheets of paper, up until somebody asks a question. Why is that? Why is that so? Why can't we do something different? And some CEOs say, look, if we do it like that, customers will not like them. Customers like broad sheet of papers, broadsheet newspapers. And someone investigated and discovered that the reason why the newspapers were in so broadsheet was because there was the British government used to tax newspapers based on how many sheets are in a particular news bulletin. So let's say they tax 1p for every page, or let's say for every sheet, and you have 10 sheets, that is about 10p tax on it. So for newspapers to adapt, they started producing very broad sheets so that they could put more news in one page or in a sheet than they will put in smaller 2 pages, and pay double. However, there was a time when that law was abolished. But unknowingly to these guys, they continued to produce newspapers in broadsheet until someone said, come on, in the Guardian, I said, we have to change this strategy. We have to change it and produce a newspaper in a way that is convenient for people when they are in some places and they want to read our news. And the first people to start, we went back to producing newspapers in what we have like today. And you know what? A lot of people bought their newspapers. And before you know it, other newspapers, other news organizations follow suit. And today, we don't have those broadsheets anymore. So you can develop strategy by questioning or by debunking this kind of myths that exist. Check the way people are doing things. You are not going to do it the same. But especially if people work in the civil service, in Nigeria civil service, it's just about the same thing. When you want to correct something or when you want to question, they will tell you that, look, we have been doing this thing for years. Doing it for years doesn't mean that you can't change it. Okay, I remember a time when I tried to make suggestion to my boss, and he said, look, my friend, I've been doing this for the past 20 years. I said, but then you can change it. So you can change things, but develop strategies by changing the way people have been doing things. Just discuss some disruption and see if not customers will like it. The next thing is you need to also develop some simple customer service strategies. All right. So you become if you get into a banking system, a banking hall to bank, just from the door. In some banks, somebody will open the door for you. Why do they need to open the door for you anyway? So why would banks spend money, employ somebody to stand by the door, only to open the door for you and open when you are going in or out? And in some banks, they have umbrellas. If rain is falling and a customer comes out, you are going towards your car, the security man or personnel will lead you to your car with an umbrella. Why would they have to do that? Okay, Peter, you want to say something?
They want you to feel happy.
They want you to feel happy.
Yes, from experience. They want you to feel happy, feel very important, and then to separate them from other banks. Like my bank I used to be, FCM, they will say, thank you for banking with us, even when you have not done any banking business.
Exactly.
Yes. They just motivate you, make you feel very important.
Yes.
And then it will encourage you to keep coming there.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what that's what the banks will do. And some banks will give you offers, they give you different offers and to welcome you. Airlines will do the same thing. Sometimes you book a flight, and if the flight is not too full, they might decide within themselves to upgrade you. They look at your status. They look at you and say, this Peter is like ordinarily he can afford first class. Let's upgrade him to first class so that he will have a feel of what it means to be in a first class. And they move you into a first class and give you a first class treatment for an economy fee that you have paid. So next time, if you want to book your flight and you have extra money, you said, I want to try this first class. Let me see. Nothing will happen. That is a simple strategy, customer service strategy, okay, that you can use to win customers and grow your business. How about good value systems? How about being very honest? How about paying attention to time so that when you tell people, come on Saturday for your good, or I will post it on Saturday and you receive it on Sunday, you should be able to tell the person that you are receiving this service by Sunday and get it done. And people will begin to build that trust around your brand, that you pay attention to the things you say. So value system is very important. Okay. Now, some organizations or some business, like I said, part replacement is when you buy an engine or a system from them, they'll tell you maybe after 2 years or after 1 year, we'll supply you, or within 1 year, if anything gets bad, we'll give you some parts, we'll replace all the parts at no cost to you. And you get to another system, that part of that value is not there. So, what do you think will happen to the customer? The customer will normally go with the person that is providing this extra value. So think around it when you start your business on how you can provide extra value to your customers. Sometimes without cost. It's not all about making money. You know, when I go further, I'll talk about cost advantage. But when you have so many customers paying you some fractions, it's better than have very few paying you a little bit of the fraction, and then you don't make the money that you are supposed to make. Okay, so that is another example. So I've given you two examples now. The banking industry meets simple customer service, a good value, sometimes goodwill. You know, when during your birthdays, I don't know. I just want to hear from you. In some banks used to send happy birthday messages to customers. Anybody can say something on that.
Yes, bank do that. Usually there's an inbuilt system
Okay.
where the system will just generate messages, bulk messages, and then send to those who are celebrating birthday. You know, those staff need to be in the banking hall during that. It can happen 12 o'clock. It can happen any time of the day. You know, the system will just, once it's your birthday, system will automatically send you a text message, a prepared text message. And then sometimes some people are reminded, some that don't even keep record of their birthday. You know, the bank will just remind you, and you feel very happy about the bank. And you know, some will just come to the bank and say, "Thank you for reminding me. You know, I even forgot about my birthday and all that." So it
Absolutely.
adds value to the banking business. And then,
Exactly.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Peter. That's what they do. So if any business is doing that to you, how do you feel? You feel connected. You feel like we're part of that business. But it's a strategy to keep you and to know that they have you at the core of their business operation. Okay. Now, this strategy from, I said, bad habits. Some people, some business, some in some industries just have what I call bad habits. Okay, very bad habits. And the example I always say is the fashion designers, people we call tailors. It's like, I don't know if you're a tailor, I'm sorry, but that is my experience. And I think the experience of most people that you give this fashion, is it not designers this time around? The people that make them, I think the designers are different. The people that cut this into, yes, you call them normally, we say they are tailors or any other name you want to call. You go there with your material, submit it to them, and they said, okay, give me advance, come in 2 weeks' time. And that 2 weeks is going to be on a Friday. And you have a wedding on Saturday to attend. You have to collect it on Friday. That means nothing should happen to that deadline. You must get it. And then you get there in the morning, or even in the evening, or in the afternoon, and discover that they've not even started cutting your material. How will you feel? Anybody with that kind of experience will tell us before. You can unmute and let's talk. Or maybe I'm making a wrong assumption.
Doc, I don't think it's only with tailors. I
Okay.
think artisans generally, cobblers or shoemakers, carpenters in the days when we used to go to make seats, tailors and such likes, electricians, people who fix maybe electrical irons and stuffs. I once asked one of them if it was part of the training they get during their grooming days, because practically all of them do that. I have some cousins who are tailors in Aba, very nice tailors. They make trousers for boutiques in Aba, or they used to there way back. But they were always in and out of police station. In fact, I got to a point that virtually all the police stations knew them. So when you come and say you're taking them to the PlayStation, they'll just be smiling at you, because once you take them there, they'll be out. So it's you are not wrong in your perspective. It's actually what they do, and it's very bad for business.
It's very bad. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. And I believe most people will have this experience with artisans and these people that are doing it. Now, to me as a person, up until now that I speak to you, I don't buy clothes. I don't buy materials and give to anybody to sew clothes for me. So I get to the supermarket, I see what is my size, I buy it and go, because I've been so discouraged by this kind of attitude. Now, that is an opportunity. It's a problem. Remember, I said from the beginning that once there's a problem, there's an opportunity. If you want to go into this kind of business, the first thing you want to do is try as much as possible to be honest, and become a strategic honesty. Okay, that's what you say is what you do. It's like what a quality management system. You say it, you do it. You check it out. So now, going into this industry of making clothes or any artisanship, if you want to, is number one, when you tell people to come on Friday, and they come on Friday and their materials, sometimes they even get it on Thursday. If you want to kill it, if you want to nail the strategy better, call the person, ring the person up with your telephone and tell the person on Thursday that, come on, your dress is ready for wedding on Saturday. And imagine the joy this customer will feel. And imagine the recommendations he's going to give to the next person and say, come on, if you have a wedding, this is it. I know so many weddings and so many events that people have had to struggle with because of tailoring and cutting of all these material issues. But that is an opportunity that you can take advantage of. Okay, so we move further now to the next set of strategies that I will talk about, which is called diversification. Diversification is after doing a particular set of business for some time, you could try to do another set of business in addition to what you are doing. So that is like the primary definition I'll have to give you. So, what is diversification? Is the expansion of your business across different products or across different markets. All right. In other words, a company is diversified when it is into two or more businesses running at the same time. All right. So in about they used to call it a line of business. Not just in about. Most people say you are in that line, you're in that line, or you are in two lines or three lines. That is business diversification. It is an option for strategic growth, and it can also be an opportunity for surviving your business. My grandmother used to be this kind of person that does so many things. So she will buy things, keep them, store them for some time. When they are scarce, then she will begin to sell. So she was not just buying only one thing. So she used to buy ogbono. Sometimes she would buy granite. Sometimes she will buy, zibeneseed, some of those things, and store them in commercial quantities, and then resell them during scarcity or when they are no longer producing, and the price a little bit higher, and make gains. And she always said that if there is a loss somewhere, let's say in Ogbono, then there will be gain somewhere in groundnuts, and it keeps the income or the overall income steady at the point, right? So once you diversify into once you get into a diversification strategy, the purpose could be to keep your income, overall net income, stable. For instance, if you look at Honda, there are different examples. And I might be going through your head now. Honda, there are Honda cars, there are Honda generators. You could see Honda motorcycles. All of these. That is now diversification. So the critical strategic issue raised by diversification is the management of corporate resources and capabilities. Do you have the resources to do that? Do you have the capacity to diversify? These are two important questions to ask before you started doing one or two businesses. And sometimes you could diversify and get people who are capable to manage that line of business. So if you look at the likes of Dangotes of this world, that they're into Dangote cement, Dangote salt, Dangote whatever. There's no the relationship between salt and cement. So we're going to talk about unrelated diversification. So, but the whole thing is that it makes the whole business now big and having opportunities to take money from here You can borrow money from one business process or one business line to finance another business line and to keep your income afloat and to keep your overall firm going where you want it to go. That's the vision. So the motive of diversification is growth, is risks spreading, and value creation. Okay, that's you might look at that. So use that to grow, use it to manage risks, and sometimes to add extra value. There are different types of diversification, like I've said. You have the related and unrelated diversification. So I will explain that in a bit. Related diversification is when you venture into another business that is related to what you were doing before. So if you were producing, let's say Coca-Cola is producing, Coca-Cola drinks, they can also produce Coca-Cola kind of water or bottled water and using the same. Is that related? Or you are into transport in a way, and you also have lorries that do delivery. So you deliver, you also take people or passengers from one place to another. So that seem to be two set of business, but then very related. You could use the same drivers that are taking people from Abuja to Lagos to deliver goods from Wuse to Apple Bridge or to Apple Extension, wherever. So that's an example of a related diversification. When it comes to unrelated diversification, there are no similarities between what these two people are doing. So if I give an example, I'll give you examples clearly later. Let's say this guy has a farm, right? And in this farm, it's a farm where you have sheep, you have animals and everything. You could now use within this farm, build accommodation for people to come for holiday and see what the farm is around. Or you could also build cafes, eateries around. When people come in terms of restaurants, it becomes like a tourism site, but it's a farm. And you could also use that, you build some areas where people come and have some trainings on how to farm. And so the whole of this now is a business. First is primarily farm, and then other things are added to it, and we call that some kind of business diversification examples. Okay. Now, in the UK, for instance, if you can see these pictures clearly, you see where the arrows are pointing. The first, if you mention Tesco, everybody knows what Tesco does, right? Tesco is a grocery retailer. They retail groceries. So if you want to buy milk, everything is in Tesco. That's what they do. If you see the picture under where Tesco is, that's what Tesco is known for. But then Tesco also have fuel stations where they sell petrol. All right, petrol and gas. But it's the same company, isn't it? So this is an example of what we call unrelated diversification. It's the same thing with Asda. There are so many these are just a few examples. Supermarkets in the UK that sell petrol as part of their business chain. All right. So you could start doing your own business. I'm going to go down now to what we do in our own place, maybe sometimes unknowingly that the business is diversified. So you could be selling recharge cards or what they call top-ups. At the same time, you are selling accessories in addition to it. Okay. You are selling telephone accessories, or you're even selling telephone lines, or you are selling accessories will include charging cables and rods and other things. Okay. I could also do SIM registration if it is something that you want to do. Say whole of that is one business, but different bits put together. This guy here is selling the same top-ups or recharge cards, but he's also selling newspapers. So what do you need? Is it newspaper or top-up? It's readily available. This lady here is selling vegetables in the market. She's also doing money transfer. Okay, so you could look at that. Money is it money transfer? I don't know how they call it in Nigeria. You give somebody money and then you give somebody a card and your pin is like mobile ATM. People do that now. So she's doing it while selling in the market. So she's making gain from there, maybe 20% or 10% for every transaction. And then she's selling vegetables. That is some kind of diversification. So whether it is related or unrelated, you can define that yourself if you want to. Okay, move further to now. Just to say that In most times, if you diversify your business, or it is advisable if you are starting to diversify your business where your resources and capabilities can be used in both business chains. All right. So if business A is selling, business A is transportation or transport business, you are moving people from Lagos to Abuja, and the business A is local delivery. Okay, you are delivering goods like shipments and things people buy. You help them deliver from a warehouse. Let's say it's from one post office. You take parcels into people's homes to deliver directly to them. That is, now it means that you can use the same bus that you're taking people from Lagos to Abuja and taking these goods from the post office to people's homes within the streets. Depend on the bus. I'm not talking about long buses this time around. In that case, in strategy, we call it a strategic fit. You now achieve two, you are killing two birds with one stone, I suppose. So anytime the road to Abuja is blocked as a result of maybe flood, just convert all your vehicles and put them in local delivery and expand it. So once the other one is open, you readjust and operate in a way that becomes more sustainable. That is another business strategy. Another is what they call integration. Integration here has to do with business value chain, generally understanding what happens between a good business value chain. So if you start a business, every business chain, just to put it across to you, that there are opportunities around a business value chain. So all you can do to start is pinpoint a place where it is suitable for you. Where do you want to operate? Number one, do you want to go into raw material production in the first place? Or do you want to go into manufacturing? Do you want to go into distribution? Do you want to go into retail? Or you want to go into sales? All of these are segments for business to function, for you to create what you can do out of it. If I give you an example, in Cross River State or Calabar, where we come from, when tourism used to be the agenda of government. When some of us finished university, all we wanted to do is to go into tourism and provide services, tour guide services, as simple as that. Take people, visitors from Calabar Airport and to Obudu Ranch resorts or to wherever they wanted to go. All right. We don't control what happens. Our own is, or my duty then was, once you land the airport, maybe you have my number, or you have a website where you can contact me. I will arrange the taxi, or I'll arrange a bus. I don't own the bus. My duty is to make all the arrangements, put them together, and give you a bill. Once you pay, I will pay the bus that will take you to the ranch. And then when I get to the ranch, I will sort your accommodation, and then I will pay the tour guide for the number of days you want to. And whatever is left becomes my own profit. That becomes a business that I will now take in a tourism industry. And yesterday, I think Anthony mentioned some of these things. Anthony, are you here? I'm just saying, Anthony.
Yes, Justin, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, so in your business, do you used to have this kind of operations where some boys will rally around and bring customers to your resort?
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's a mean of like generating your own income, being a guide or a kind of an agent kind of a thing. So there are many ways to operate in that perspective. A couple of things is set up your own website.
Yep.
A company as a travel agent and bring customers through your social media, your website, through booking.com. There are like several other sites where you can publish yourself and bring customers. Or then the next step, or on a local basis. So you have a tourist destination, say for an example, London. Okay, so you have people coming into London, and like specific locations, people only come for tourism, not for business or anything. So when these side of physical people, like who are there on ground, I identify these people and go to them, tell them and explain to them about the resorts, the facilities in the locality or the area, and they invite them and take them to the resort or anywhere the customer wants. So one of the two things happens is the customer might tip you for the local person there,
Yep.
or there would be a tie-up with the resort or the activity they are doing. So they would, so you obviously need a transportation for that. So there would be an understanding between the driver or the owner of the car or whoever is providing the transportation. Also, they would have a tie-up with the resort they are taking them to. And if they are taking them to a local cuisine of a restaurant, they'll have a tie-up with them. So revenue is generated in that way. A percentage of the amount the customer pays them will be given back to the person who is guiding them. So yeah,
That's right. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Of course, I think you just explained a new line of business now to some people that might want to do it. You could do it yourself. You could establish that and get people to run it. That's a way you are creating value and creating jobs opportunities within the community where you live. So that is that. And I have this example of this business integration. I have what I call a Kulikuli integration example. I don't know, anybody knows what this is, Kulikuli?
it's a strange name, that much I know.
Okay. So who else? No, I think, Joe, are you there?
Yeah, I know Kulikuli very well.
Okay. So who else does not know Kulikuli? Let me know.
I know. I use it a lot, sir.
Okay, you use it a lot. That's fine. So you'll understand what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So now, quickly, before it gets to the picture I've just shown, before we get to here, that you see that beautiful, some people call it granite cake, and there was alarm that you don't call it granite cake, you call it the name that it is, but it's made from granite. Before we get there, kulikuli will always start from here. This is the raw material. So this is something that my grandmother used to do, and I am really conversant with the farming process. So you can see how it is now. That is a farm, and that is the granite plant with all the fruits in it. Okay, so usually this is one area, or you say manufacture. Sorry, you will say raw material production process in the business value chain. The next thing is that granite you are seeing is processed to this form. You can see how it looks like. This is the inner ones. This is the shell, the one that is here within the shell. So we call that processed raw material, if you want to. And then it gets to somebody who is going to do the production of kulikuli. So she's frying it now. There's a process around here. So it goes into around what I call manufacturing. So you squeeze, oil will come out, and then you fry what they call the cake and what they call kulikuli using the same oil. So you're not going to bring oil from anywhere. It's the oil produced by granite that is used in frying it. So it shows you that, of course, you could get a whole lot from granite. I don't think anything from granite, like palm tree, can be wasted or is a waste out of it. And then it gets to the final stage now, produce kulikuli that people will buy and use for whatever they want to use it in the market. Now, what happens finally is the distribution of kulikuli and the packaging. Now, look at that. That has been repackaged and it's called kulikuli. Another person is selling it. This is something I used to do when I was in primary school. We used to go buy this from the producers and come to our school and retail. Sometimes during break, some students or people will come to us and buy from. So either buy it as a raw form that is on the plate, or now it's being packaged as it is for retailing. All right. So you could see that the whole of this now will give you what they call a business value chain, from raw material to repackaging and distribution. Your business could be any one of these. And in a situation what they call integration is in a situation where a business is only processing the raw materials just around well, just around here, raw material processing, right? Processed raw material. This could be one business. And after doing this business for some time, you could say, why not I go into farming this groundnut myself instead of buying from farmers to process before selling it to this woman that is frying? Why not I go into farming it myself? In that case, it's called backward integration, isn't it? Yeah. So you go back, do the farming and process. When you do that, you are taking away the profits that will come from here. That profit that this farmer used to make, you are now making it directly yourself, right? Of course, we know there will be cost of every other thing in farming, but for so far as this farmer is making profit, when you come back, you also be sharing, you'll be making that same profit. And of course, your profit margin will grow. Now, this woman that is frying could decide to, instead of going to the market to buy, she could decide to go into production or raw material production, farming it herself, processing the seeds herself into this neatly looking granules, and then fry it. People will come to her and buy. That is another form of backward integration. Now she might decide this person is making profit, this person is making profit, she is making profit. So once she gets back 2 steps, she'll be making 2 times or 3 times profit from the kulikuli value chain in a way. And another person who is only interested in retailing will come to her, buy, package, and retail. So if you decide to go all the way from raw material production or farming to processing to production to packaging and retail, that is taking full advantage of the business value chain. That is complete full integrated business. But then if you decide to fry, process the way it is, what they call it, produce the kulikuli as I call it here, and package it, retail it directly herself, she is taking a forward integration. She can decide to only fry kulikuli and people will come to her and buy. But when she decides to fry and retail, she's taking a forward integration. So this is an example of what I would describe as a business integration. And mind you, whichever way you take, whether forward or backward integration, you are going to make profits away from the groundnut itself. You know, the leaves will add compost and could also be used as feeds for animals. Of course, you know the problem of farmers herders clashes used to be as a result of cows or animals feeding on these crops. So you could use the leaves as feedstock. The seeds processed into groundnut cake or what they call kulikuli, and of course groundnut oil. We know how beautiful groundnut oil is. It's also what you might want to take, and it becomes another business or another set of thing you want to sell. How about the shells? The shells could be used as in processing animal feeds in a way. That becomes another addition when you take either forward or backward integration business strategy, or take the overall business value chain. So this is one example I want to give, and then move to the next. I just have to try so that I will finish, and then we go on break. So bear with me, maybe taking too long, but I will be a little bit faster now. The next is cost and differentiation strategies. Of course, when every business, you need to decide whether you are going for low cost or you are going for differentiated products. So for every low cost goods, there are goods that are offered at relatively very low or lower prices, so that you have so many customers coming into your shop to buy. An example we give. So by definition, I would say a cost advantage firm is a business that can produce or supply a particular product that the cost is very low, and some in differentiated products are those ones that value has been added to them. So in Nigeria, for instance, if you said to someone that you are wearing a barmaid, it means he has gone for a low cost product, right? And if the person is not wearing a bambi, I don't know where the next will come from, either from China or from Turkey. They'll say, okay, that one has extra quality. That is a differentiated product. Okay. So when you decide to go into business, where do you want to position? What strategy do you want to get? Do you want to go to producing, or you want to get into producing low cost goods that you have so many customers coming to buy, or you want to produce very high quality products and then you have few and some targeted customers to patronize your goods. So whichever one you want, there are advantage to it, okay, that you want to take. So for the benefit for the low cost one is that you are going to capture the market share. You are going to have so many customers coming to you, okay, and then you earn higher income by those prices that you offer. You have so much money. Example in the UK, for instance, is a shop called Primark. Primark is not an expensive shop. Anybody can walk. Should I say anybody? Most people could afford to buy things from Primark. In the US, the Primark version is called Walmart. If you fly Norwegian Airlines, it's also sometimes cheaper than flying. It's cheaper than flying British Airways, for instance. So for differentiated goods, example, you want to capture a share by offering high quality, all right, prices, and then you make more money from adding extra value to the products or services. So if you look at the examples like Mercedes-Benz cars, or British Airways, if you want to fly, or if you want to buy clothes, Louis Vuitton, or you buy Gucci products. So those ones are differentiated. They are strategically designed for certain class of people so that everybody knows where your level is and you get there. So if you want to go for low cost, then you are going to make so much money from so many people, or you go for differentiated products or services, make so much money from few people. All right, that is what differentiation is about, and there are key drivers and there are advantages to it. How do you go for low cost advantage? Means you are going to look for cheap labor somewhere. You are going to look for technology, apply technology and innovation to make your products more affordable. Use research and development, economy of scale. Of course, economy of scale is producing so many that the cost will become very, very little. I give an example in printing. The cost of printing 1,000 copies of a book or of a material could as well afford you printing 2,000 copies or 1,500 copies. So the higher you produce, the cheaper the cost. That is economy of scale, just to give you a definition. You could use product efficiency, the design, change the design. Sometimes if people are making round kulikuli, you make straight kulikuli. And sometimes use the kulikuli to carve images or Easter images. You could use it to make dogs, or use it to make bunnies, or what they call bunny, what's another name? Rabbits, kind of thing, so that people can see that, oh, this is Easter kulikuli. It gives you a different design, product design or shape. People will patronize you during that period. Sometimes location and where you get your materials will be a way to which you want to reduce costs. If people are buying within the city and the cost is very high because they are buying within the city, why not go to villages and buy directly from them, from the producers, and bring it to the city, so that you can bring down the cost of raw materials and bring down the front line costs and get more customers. That is a way which you can lower the cost of your products and services. So for differentiation proposition, I have this, but I've already explained what it means in each of these. There are just some calculations just to show that if you have, if the frontline costs for any good, let's say, is 14 pounds, and the cost of production is 8 pounds, you are making profits of 6 pounds. All right, that is the general industry situation. That's what everybody is selling. I hope you can see it. Let me understand quickly. Can you see that? Who is here? Chomi, can you see my screen? Chomi is not there.
We can, Justin. Yes, we can see this.
Okay, fine. So for the first one, 14 minus 8 equal to 6. It's a normal industry standard. Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. So everybody is selling at that cost. Okay. So now, if you want to get to compete, if you are competing, I need a market share. You can decide to lower the cost from 14 pounds, all right, to 12 pounds. That's how much you will be selling your products in the market. And what has happened? what has happened is that the cost of production, all right, has reduced from £8 to £6. But end of the day, you are making £6 anyway as profit. So the profit you are making is the same profits every other person is making in the market, but your costs, sorry, your frontline cost is cheaper than other people. So it's not rocket science. It's business strategy. So what happened that you think will reduce that 8 to 6? Anybody? General question. What can reduce? What do you think will be the factor that will reduce 8 to 6?
Okay, then.
Yes.
Material cost.
I thought it was in the, on a workshop. It's Zoom.
That was really weird, as you
But
said.
when I asked, how are you, Dad?
So anybody saying something? I
No,
just
like
want
I
to.
was saying, the raw
Okay.
material cost, the price they bought the product for.
Say that again. Let me hear you clearly.
No, the raw material cost.
Okay, you reduce the raw material cost. Okay, that is one option. Any other person with the reason why 8 has become 6? Yes. Okay, not to waste your time. Anthony is right. I'll just go back to what I've shown you before. That this is it. Now, reducing raw material costs is one of them. Now, what you can do to also lower the cost of production and keep and reduce the costs, the frontline cost of your products, you could look for cheap labor. Look for somebody who will do it, maintain the same product standards, but the person receive lower pay, right, in a way that is ethical, sustainable, and practicable. That will be fine. Okay, so you could reach research and development and produce it even faster or quicker. Instead of taking 2 hours or paying somebody for 2 hours of doing it, why not you look for a way of doing it in 1 hour and reducing that cost? So that is the idea, taking this cost from 8 to 6. You need to, every business that you are looking at low cost advantage, you need to understand the maths. It's very simple but difficult in a way, that you need to reduce this 8 here to 6, and you make the same profit that this person is making, but his own goods are more expensive than yours, and you see what it means. Then, in another way, is that you could increase the costs of the frontline cost of that product, the frontline cost. The cost of production, instead of 8, has gone to 10, and you are making more profit than the other people. You are making more profits than your competitors in the market. So the next question I would have asked is, how come the price is getting, or is the price of production or cost of production has increased by £2 from 8 to 10, or has increased from 8 to 10? Any idea why that should happen? Sylvia, are you there? Where is Innocent? Innocent, do you have any idea?
I'm still cracking my brain to see. Not yet.
Okay. Madam, are you there? Yes, you can unmute. Do you have any reason why that should happen? Chami?
No, I don't.
I think there are certain factors that can bring in a certain increase or hike in cost of production.
Okay, tell me.
All right. Cost of labor, cost of raw materials, those things can also cause increase in cost of production.
So if you do that,
cost of transportation, bringing in the raw materials.
Okay, fine. What you have said now is very okay. Someone else?
Yeah, it is basically me. It would be mainly because you increase the quality of the product.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. That is the reason. Now you are going in. This is what they call differentiation advantage. Okay, you are adding extra value. That value that you are adding to the products is not going to be the price. The cost of production is not going to remain the same. The cost of production will go higher. because you're adding value. So it will lead to a frontline cost increasing also by £3. That's from 14 to 17 pounds. Now, you know that it's a deliberate strategy. You are adding extra value, but not everybody is going to afford it. That is fine. But you are making more money from fewer people. End of the day, you might make money as the same as the other person, that the price is £12. They come to you, they want to buy it. You tell them, well, this is what I can offer. This is the value that this will give you extra, but you also have a choice to go somewhere else and get it. So you need to look at that. That is differentiation in a way. So it comes into here, and this is what is defined as a customer value proposition, proposing what will add more value to what customer needs. So I've given you here how you can boost the revenue of your products and services is that if the frontline cost is that, and everybody's making £8, you can also make £8, but selling it at 17 pounds as a frontline cost for every piece of your service or products. Okay, and the cost of production in 9. So you think about this, is it shows as if it's mathematics, but it's not. It's what every child can play around with, but it's used to illustrate what you can do. So you could go with economy of scale, economy of scope. Economy of scale is producing so many and reducing the cost. Economy of scope is producing 2 or more products and lowering their cost using technology, product design, like I have mentioned. And the key drivers of differentiation here is that it brings a premium brand image. So when you add value to it, you add premium price also. You could customize it. You could make a unique style. I don't know, most premium products doesn't look too good to me if I'm the only person. Some expensive cars that people drive, they don't look too good to me. I won't afford to stake my money for them. Example is the one Anthony uses. I don't. It doesn't look like what I like, but people spend money on things like that. So giving it a unique style that it becomes more acceptable to some class of people, you make plenty of money. So you are specific. You are looking for people with plenty of money. Celebrities are the people you are targeting. Okay, so you produce things that are unique for them to buy, and you get more advantage from there. So there's another strategy called segmentation, and I think people use it. Example, what? I think McDonald's has segments, mostly for children and moms who always go around. Children will also say, "Well, we need McDonald's." So you need to understand what the market segment is, the particular group of people that you want to service. Also, it could be a particular location. It could be a particular age of people. You could design your business that is suitable for elderly people. For instance, if you go into care business, wherever you live and you're offering care is not for some young people, it's for elderly people. And if you have most of them, that is your business segment. It could be people who behave in the same way. Let's say if you live in a place where people like to enjoy themselves, and then of course, you have to supply them wine and drinks and pleasurable things like that. So business segmentation is also another strategy. So you could segment based on age, gender, geography, occupation, religion. Like I said before, some people sell halal food. Occupation, there are some people who wear lab coats in places. So your own duty will be to make lab coats for people who work in labs. And if you live in a place that is so cold, like in the UK, your business could be supplying warm clothing. Or if you look at, if you live in a place where you think, okay, you want to attract women to your goods and offer women or men will like. If you live in a place, lifestyle could affect you. If you live with footballers, then footballers have plenty of money. You need to offer them what they can afford to buy. So I'll rush through this so that we go. I don't want to take too much of more time. Strategic partnership, collaboration, and networking is very important. Strategies that you need to understand and build that into your business idea as you grow. Example here, I would say the interfirm cooperation, which leads to either cooperation means you have a firm, another person has got a firm, so you could do that. You could work together through subcontracting, joint venture equity, or what they call equity joint ventures, or strategic alliances, where you people can operate was almost about the same thing. So there are different types of alliances that we want to talk about. There are comprehensive alliances, there are functional alliances, products alliances, and all of these have there are different ways. If it is functional alliances, collaboration is based on a single product such as research and development or finances. You put some money together, only your money comes together. You don't use the same buildings, you don't use the same machineries, but you put money together to achieve something that is a functional alliances. Or even if you are sharing machines, only machines, the functional alliance. Investment alliance is there where two organizations put money together to do things. There's market alliance where everybody sell on the same platform, research and development, and what they call PPP, public-private partnership. I think that's what it is, where government and organizations work together in achieving a particular purpose. So these are all possible strategies you could think of. You could take your business international, which is global. If you look at the concept of globalization, if you like, I think yesterday Anthony talked about opportunities between India and Africa, and also yesterday Ugbede did well by his presentation on emerging economies and the opportunities that are there. So you can begin to look at exports and import business or businesses from India or from Africa to other places and become that global brand that you want to be. There are also majors, but these ones are bigger businesses. Everybody, I think most of you know about majors. Sometimes you merge if you know that policies of government become so harsh that you cannot afford. So two firms will come together. There are so many banks that have merged. There are so many banks that have been acquired. So these are two different forms of strategic propositions. When you merge, two companies come together, like we have ExxonMobil. Exxon usually came together and merge with Mobil. Now have ExxonMobil. Okay, acquisition. One company could acquire the other and take sole ownership of the operation. So Google acquisition of YouTube is there. Facebook acquire WhatsApp and Instagram, and they paid heavily for all of this. You could also design your business in a way that becomes so attractive to other bigger boys, and they come pay you plenty of money and buy it off from you, and you go home. So that is also an opportunity out there. This would have shown how this market have grown in some years between 2009 and 2016. This is a smartphone operating system industry. In 2019, look at where Android was. Can you see Android occupied 3.9% of the market share of smartphone industry? And by 2016, can you see where they were and where they could be by now? That is 84.8% of the entire market share for Androids already. But then if you look at now, if you get into checking how much in terms of revenue, you know where Apple is in the world. It's on the news that Apple has been the first $1 trillion business in the world. So having enough customers is not the same as having enough revenue. It depends on what you are looking for. Okay, it's an example to show. So to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I've been able to provide different strategies that you could tap from in proposing your business. And I said from the beginning that if you want to transform your business through strategy or strategies, you could first create the business vision, mission, and values, communicate your mission and value directly and clearly to your employers or any stakeholders that is relevant. Empower other people to act and share in your vision. Sometimes it's not good to go all alone. Establish a good sense of urgency. I think urgency is another thing, another day, if we have to talk about business urgency. Establish urgency. Don't take it easy. Try, give it a boost, give it your time. Take opportunity in institutional voids. Institutional voids means in situations or in some economies where there are gaps in the institutions. You could take advantage of those ones, and of course, form a powerful coalition alliances that are crucial. Plan and create short-term wins and goals. Consolidate on improvement and be open to change. If you don't change, of course, change will change you. Institutionalize new approaches and then question bad habits, any bad habits that is going to cause damages to your business. Try as much as possible not to take that. So thank you so much for staying around for such a long time, 1.5 hours to listen to this. I will entertain questions, comments, and anything you have to say. And this before we go on a long break.
Doctor, thank you so
much. Oh, sorry, go on.
Exposition. I've gained so much. I want to appeal. Can we have the slides in our email?
Well, I'll discuss that with you later. But since this workshop is not paid for, I've decided not to share slide with any attendee. But the video is there on for you, and it's been recorded. So those ones probably would do. What do you think?
It's okay. It's okay.
Bear with us.
So
yes, sir. Yes. Chomi?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, is this the end of it?
For this session, yes. There's afternoon session coming up.
Oh, okay. What time?
It's coming up at I think 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it the same? Is it the same session or a different? Is it the same topic or a different topic?
No, it's a different topic entirely. I thought I sent that to you yesterday. It's going to be on sustainability and green opportunities.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
And then another one will come on how to sources of finance and how to manage. How to manage finance, how to finance and manage SME.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. No. It's really, really good. I can't believe I missed the first 2 days, and I'm really gutted. I think you should organize another one at some point this year so I can attend it. I don't know, for some reason I just completely forgot about it. But yeah, brilliant session. I'm looking forward to the afternoon session.
Thank you. Thank you. That'll be fine. Okay, let me read some comments here. Well done, my dear brother. Also, okay, please, I may have to leave. All right, thank you for that. Bye-bye. Okay, that's been said. Yeah, any other comment, questions before we close?
I just want to say it was a great session.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a few things to what Justy might have said. You might take it also. So when you start a new business, there is always a lack of knowledge that always plays behind everything. Yeah, GE Hub, I think we would be able to support you in that perspective. Our connections or the network we have built within GE Hub, there are a lot of peoples who would be directly be able to support you to, if you're building an infrastructure or a new business, say you're going into a resort. I'll take it from my end of knowledge, into a resort business or a tourism business. I should be able to guide you in a way what are the areas you would have to look into and things. And another perspective of it, if you're setting up a consultancy company for engineering services, what resources would you require, and those are sort of supports also. So when you a lot of questions obviously would come into everyone's mind when you start a business or starts thinking about setting up their own firm or things. At GE Hub, we would be able to support you to build that sort of infrastructure.